ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar my dear friends, this is video number 2 on Updesa Saram, a most important book, most preferred and recommended by Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi for the devotees and sadhakas of I start this video with stanza number 1. Karturagya prapyate phalam karam kim param karam tajjadam. By the will of the Creator, action bears fruit. Is action then supreme? No, it is inert, unconscious. This is the fundamental answer to the ultimate question. We cannot perform actions and expect those actions to result in the desired fruits. The Creator, Ishvara or Shiva, is the Lord of action and determines what fruits and what subsequent actions will be forthcoming. We not only cannot control the fruits of our behavior, we cannot even choose the actions themselves, since these are influenced by an endless series of past actions. So, action is in itself inert, unconscious. It and its fruits are Ishvaras. Do we choose our dream actions? For the Maharshi, waking and dream have the same degree of reality. In the Yoga Vasishtha, the crow yogin Sunda was asked why he had survived for so many ages. He replied, "Who will be able to overstep the strict ordinances of Shiva, Ishvara? His will was that I should act thus and other yogins should act in the way that they did. As every preordained event should work out its results, such events will inevitably come to pass. Such is the nature of the law." The Sanskrit Jada is translated inert. Referring to this opening verse, the Maharshi says, "There is no truth in the insentient Jada. One whole consciousness prevails over all alone, and Karta means Ishvara. He is the one who distributes the fruits of action to each person according to his karma. That means that he is the manifest Brahma. The real Brahma is unmanifest and without motion. It is only the manifest Brahma that is named as Ishvara. Stanza number 2. Karti maho dadhu patna karnam phalam asvatam gati nirodhakam. The fruits of action are not everlasting, and they cause one to fall into the great ocean of karma, blocking spiritual progress. Our actions, good or bad, obviously bring results which cause us to experience pleasure and pain. Such are transient, but they leave seeds of desire or fear in our minds, causing us to repeat or avoid the previous actions. These seeds or vasanas involve us in an endless series of commitments and events which bind us to the outer world and prevent us from turning inward and discovering our true nature. Therefore, no salvation or freedom from rebirth is to be found in activities, no matter how important or virtuous they may seem. Stanza number 3. ईश्वर अर्पितम निच्छया कर्तम चित्ता सोदकम mukti sadhakam. That action which is done without personal desire and whose fruits are surrendered to the Lord purifies the mind and leads to liberation. Actions in themselves, together with their fruits, serve to bind the individual. This verse shows, nevertheless, how action may lead to indirectly to salvation. If one acts in a detached and selfless manner with no intention of obtaining personal benefit, this is a form of devotion to the Lord, benefiting His creation and freeing the mind from craving and restlessness. The Maharshi, however, would sometimes point out the pitfalls of unselfish action. It is so easy to think of oneself as a generous and kind person, helping someone who is beneath him, that the ego becomes inflated and the fruits of praise, recognition, and self satisfaction are accepted and expected, leading not to detachment but to great bondage. What is described in this verse is what the Gita calls sattvic action, an action which is free from attachment, which is done without love or hatred by one not desirous of the fruit. That action is declared to be sattvic. A person is said to be a sattvic agent when he is free from attachment, not given to egotism, endued with firmness and vigor, unaffected in success and failure. Stanza number 4. काया वाङ्मन कार्य मुक्तम पूजनम जपश्चिंतनम कर्मात्. Ritual worship, a repetition of sacred names, and meditation are done with the body, the speech, and the mind, and they progress in excellence in that order. Clearly, in this verse, the Maharshi advises that the less physically active and exteriorized religious disciplines are, the more effective they become. He has said, we project ourselves into idols and worship them because we do not understand true inward worship. But when asked if such practices as bathing, prayer, chanting, and pilgrimage to sacred places were useful to spiritual aspirants or merely a waste of time, Sri Bhagwan replied, all of them advance the purification of neophytes whose worldly propensities have just begun to lose force. Virtuous thoughts, words, and deeds nullify their contraries in the past. The Maharshi thus assigns a limited and preliminary value to rituals but does not go as far as Vasishtha in dismissing them. The vain waste their time like brutes in the fruitless illusions of tapas, austerities, yajna, sacrifices, holy waters, visiting sacred shrines, the worship of gods, gifts, etc. But you should abandon all these as tending to rebirth. Karma or action in some context refers to religious ritual, and in this fourth verse, the Maharshi continues discussing the path of action or devotion. In this case, the path is that of the Kramkanda, that portion of the Vedas which prescribes obligatory ritual and other activities. Stanza number 5. Jagat Isadhi Yukta Sivanam Ashtamurti Bhardeva Pujanam. To serve the world, looked upon as the manifestation of the Lord, is to offer worship to the Lord of the eight forms. The Lord of the eight forms is identified by the poet Kalidasa in the prologue to his famous play Sakuntala. Eight forms has Shiva, Lord of all and King, and these are water, first created thing, and fire, which speeds the sacrifice, begun the priest and times dividers, moon and sun. The all embracing ether, path of sound, the earth wherein all seeds of life are found, and air, the breath of life. May He draw near, revealed in these, and bless those gathered here. To perform our ordained part in life, remembering always that in doing so we are serving the Lord's own creation, is to worship Shiva effectively. Having described the path of action in previous verses, the Maharshi in this and the next 5 discusses the path of devotion and shows its relation to action and to meditative practices. Stanza number 6. Uttam sadvad ucca mandata चित्तजाम japa dhyanam uttamam. Silent meditation in the mind is higher than the best devotional praise or the uttering of sacred names loudly or softly. We see here, as in the fourth verse, a scale of excellence. Again, the Maharshi's theme is that the quieter and more internal the devotional practice, the more effective it is. The Maharshi is not rejecting the singing of hymns, or the recitation of devotional poetry. His devotees sang his verses while begging food in Sri Ramana or walking with him round the sacred Arunachala hill. Stanza number 7. आज्य धारया स्रोतसा समम सरल चिंतनम विरलतः परम like an unbroken flow of oil or a stream of water. Continuous meditation is better than that which is interrupted. The potential power of meditation is to be achieved only when attention is prolonged. The power is dissipated when the mind turns to exterior matters. The Maharshi has at times commented that fixed programs of meditation at certain hours are of limited value. One should endeavor at all times to hold on to the I thought. He advised that meditation depends on strength of mind and must be unceasing. Even when one is engaged in work, special hours may be helpful but are meant for novices. Stanza number 8. भेद भावनात् सो मिथ्य सो भावना भिदा पावनी मता. Meditation on the identity of the individual and the Lord I am He is more purifying than meditation which assumes a difference between them. To assume that there is an ultimate distinction between the Lord and the meditator is to deny his total presence and to limit his being and power and knowledge. It involves the person in all the contradictions of dualism, causing one to wrestle with imagined problems of identity and behavior which only strengthen the ego. Nevertheless, at a certain level of devotional meditation, the Maharshi accepted a dualist approach as helpful. He himself wrote poems of great beauty and deep devotion to Arunachala. Sankara too wrote devotional hymns seemingly dualist in tone but ultimately moving the devotee towards a sense of oneness with the Lord. In any case, the final necessity for the meditator is to turn his attention inward to the self rather than outward towards any image or concept, no matter how sacred. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this same theme is found. He who worships the Lord thinking he is one and I am another does not know, and again he goes from death to death who sees difference as it were in Brahma. Stanza number 9. भाव शून्य सद भावा सुस्थितः भावना बलद bhakti uttama. By the power of meditation, devoid of thoughts, one is established in true being, and this is supreme devotion. When asked by visitors for spiritual instruction, The Maharshi sometimes referred them to Updesa Saram and gave its central message as stilling the mind and remaining free from thoughts. The ending of thought is true bhakti and is the beginning of wisdom and bliss. It is supreme devotion because the self and the Lord are identical. Often he has told us that only a true bhakta can be a true jnani and only a true jnani can be a true bhakta. Total attention to the self, unclouded by extraneous thoughts, is the same as surrender to the Lord, there being no activity of the ego. This inactivity of the ego occurs when the meditator turns his attention away from all other matters and focuses attention solely upon the I, and paradoxically, the ego is thereby destroyed, being deprived of the support it requires from otherness. Stanza number 10. हस्थले मनः सव सतता क्रिया भक्ति योग बोधयाश्च निश्चितम. The practice of fixing the mind in its own source in the heart is, without doubt, true bhakti, yoga, and understanding. Whatever path is used by the aspirant for self realization, and whatever may be emphasized, whether action or devotion or breath control or knowledge, it all amounts in the end to the necessity of absorbing the mind and thereby freeing the jiva from the tyranny of thought. The heart referred to here is not the physical heart on the left side of the body, but the spiritual heart on the right side. Yet this must not be taken too literally. When a devotee remarked that the Maharshi specified a particular place in the body, that it is in the chest, 2 digits to the right from the median, he replied, yes, that is the center of spiritual experience according to the testimony of sages. Truly speaking, pure consciousness is indivisible. There is no right or left for it. It is by coming down to the level of ordinary understanding that a place is assigned to the heart in the physical body. Since during the bodiless experience of the heart as pure consciousness, the sage is not at all aware of the body, that absolute experience is localized by him within the limits of the physical body by a sort of recollection made while he is with bodily awareness. When Maharshi was asked specifically about this verse by Devraja Madaliyar, what is the heart referred to? Maharshi replied, that which is the source of all, that in which all live, and that into which all finally merge, is the heart referred to. Mudaliar continued, how can we conceive such a heart? Maharshi again, why should you conceive of anything? You have only to see from where the I springs. So this video number 2 ends here, and the Third video will start with stanza number 11 of Updesa Saram. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar my dear friends.